Hello, everyone. Welcome. It is Monday night. It is time for Revolutionary Change. I'm Jen Perelman.
I'm Peter Hager. And
he is so out. You sound so sick.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah.
I was thinking, why is our crowd so drastically small this evening?
It's sad looking, right?
And I realized that I fucked up again because I decided
What did you do?
I decided to put USS Liberty in the description.
Oh, so now that's why. There you go.
I made a boo.
There you go.
Made a boo-boo, as they say. Yeah, so guys, I'm still fighting off the cold, and I got to tell you, Jen, and I haven't, these are the first words I'm speaking in the past 48 hours. I haven't said since the live stream on Saturday. And so this was even 6 hours ago. 24 hours ago, no chance. Even 6 hours ago, I'd say, you know what? I don't think I've missed a single show since we've started the podcast. I don't
think so. I don't think so.
So this was close. And I'm still not where I want to be, but believe me, I was like, I'm not going to say I was delirious or anything like that, but, just been fighting. I get like, I pretty much only get one type of cold, and it's an upper respiratory infection where it starts in the throat, goes to the nasal passages, and then it's in the head. And so right now it's kind of like here.
Everyone's loving the anatomy lesson you're giving. Yeah. Sure. Mm-hmm.
But we appreciate you being here, and today's a very important day. Those of you who have obviously been paying attention to our channel know that, I mean, the USS Liberty is a story we've obviously been covering at great length for a couple of years now, and the fact that we've been very lucky to have 3 surviving members from this tragedy on our channel, it goes without saying that we are extremely grateful for that. But as we've often pointed out, there's only so much that we can do because we are a small channel. We're not a channel that corporate media is going to say, oh, did you see what those guys were talking about today? But there was somebody that was talking about the USS Liberty today. Somebody who has a very large platform. And somebody who I think we both can agree is going to go scorched earth for the next 7 months while he's on Capitol. Here's Thomas Massie.
It's my great honor, maybe one of the biggest honors of my lifetime, to stand here on the floor and do something that's 59 years overdue, to recognize the survivors and those who gave their lives on the USS Liberty 59 years ago today, when they were viciously attacked by IDF jets, and also after that by torpedo boats. I'm going to tell you a little bit of their story. And there, by the way, there's at least a dozen of them here today with us. I just met with them in my office, and they related this story to me. You know, it was a clear day. The USS Liberty was one of the most technologically sophisticated ships in the Navy, but it was virtually unarmed, and it was sent to observe the 6-day war going on in the Middle East between Israel and its neighbors. It arrived on June 7th, and the weather was clear. The planes came out to meet them, to investigate, and then on the next day, on June 8th, they started the day. The visibility was unlimited. The American flag was flying proudly on the USS Liberty. More planes came from Israel to surveil the boat, the ship. And they thought they were in good shape, but what happened next surprised them all. French Mirage jets showed up, and for 25 minutes, strafed and attacked the USS Liberty. They shot rockets. They shot 30-millimeter cannons into the hull and into the ship. They even dropped napalm on the bridge of the ship. This was an effort to kill everybody on board. There was no intention of taking prisoners. After the 25 grueling minutes of attack on this virtually unarmed ship, and they thought things were over and they could recover, the torpedo boats showed up, 3 torpedo boats. They launched 4 torpedoes. One of them hit the hull of the USS Liberty and killed 25 people instantly. It blew a 40-foot by 40-foot hole in the side of this ship. They were intent on sinking it. But they were also intent on not having a single survivor. According
Now, we all know why they didn't want a survivor. Are we right? Am I right, Jen?
Well, this, look, what their real intent, right? Are they trying to do a false flag? That's what it looks like to everybody. But I do need to point out is something that David Hunter did say, that Thomas Massie has had 13 years to talk about this, and I don't think he has. So I'm just putting that out there as it's a reasonable comment to make. So I don't know if it's that he feels more at liberty to do so now that I thought he would be the kind of person that wouldn't care about that anyway, but yet there we are.
Well, you sure know how to poo-poo the shit out of something positive, but
I was just pointing out what somebody said in their chat.
Well, we love David, but David's a Debbie Downer 24/7, so it's not anything new. David's always had glasses half empty. So here's a glasses half empty response. Who the hell else on Capitol Hill has said anything about this in this position? Nobody. Nobody
That's
talks
true.
about it. Nobody cares
That's
about
true.
it. Again, the reason that they don't, it's not even necessarily that they don't care about it. It's that they understand that there is a code of silence that exists. This is what John Kiriakou said when he was sitting with Theo Vaughn the other day. There is an understanding on Capitol Hill that Israel is the one guardrail you can't cross. You just can't do it. Because if you do, you put everybody else in a vulnerable position. But Massie has come to the conclusion that this experiment of the American empire has failed. And we need a revolution. Now, what revolution looks like in his mind is probably different than what it looks like in our mind, but it still draws a similar conclusion in that this system can't stand. How could it? And it took this long, but I sent a message to Phil Turney and to anybody else who's there today. And I hope that there are other congressional representatives that are at least acknowledging what this is all about. But remember, and we talk about this constantly, the change is not going to come from the halls of Congress. The change is going to come from us outside. They're going to have no choice but to change. When enough people decide, like the Albanians have decided, that they don't want the Zios in their country anymore, when we start acting like them, then we might get somewhere.
Well, we're never going to act like them. Again, now you're talking about a people that are very connected to a culture and a land and a history, right? We don't have that here. The people here, land is just something that you buy, and there's no real connection. So that's why it's impossible for people like Ivanka to understand what that really is.
I agree.
torpedo boats
Peter
showed up,
said.
3 torpedo boats. They launched 4 torpedoes. One of them hit the hull of the USS Liberty and killed 25 people instantly. It blew a 40-foot by 40-foot hole in the side of this ship. They were intent on sinking it. But they were also intent on not having a single survivor. According to eyewitness accounts, the Israelis machine gunned the lifeboats that they put down. They machine gunned the firefighters who were on the deck. They were bringing the wounded and the dead to the mess hall to triage them. They had one doctor who was trying to help them all, put a few stitches in. It was harrowing, and it's amazing. If not for that crew, that boat would have sunk that day. But it still wasn't over. Helicopters showed up, combat helicopters. And the USS Liberty, even though their signals were being jammed by the Israelis, got a signal out. And there were ships that tried to respond. The USS Saratoga, the USS America sent planes, both of them sent planes to help the USS Liberty. And something happened that's never happened before. A ship under attack, the planes were recalled. This has never happened before. And they sat there for 17 hours. 34 dead, 174 wounded, out of 294 crew members. That's over 70% casualty rate, unheard of. The Israelis were intent on leaving no survivor. And what about our own military? Why did they not send anybody for 17 hours to help these men? So what really happened? You know, the official reports say that it was a case of mistaken identity. But if you listen to Dean Rusk, former Secretary of State, Richard Helms, CIA Director, Bobby Ray Inman, head of the NSA, Captain Ward Boston, who was the chief counsel of the Court of Inquiry. If you listen to Admiral Moore, who served in Pearl Harbor, Midway, commanded both the Atlantic and Pacific Fleet, and was chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, none of these distinguished men think this was an accident. They think it was intentional murder by the country of Israel, either as a false flag operation or because they simply didn't want anybody observing what they were doing that day. Well, I've got a call to action for everybody here. Honor these individuals. Quit ignoring that they exist. Go to their website, ussliberty.org. Support them. And while they're still alive, they need closure. Let's give them closure. Let's have an investigation. Let's pass a resolution honoring them. It's long overdue. And then they can have their justice. With that, I yield back. And I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record a declaration of Ward Boston declaring that the only official court of inquiry was invalid.
Without objection, so ordered.
I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. The chair now recognizes.
I don't know what that does. You know, I mean, it seems, mostly symbolic.
Well, when you get more people talking about it, that's half the battle.
Okay. That's all right. That's cool.
You know, Massie's willing to
If
do
that helps.
Does
But
it
why
not?
didn't he do it sooner? Why do you think Massie never brought this up sooner? It isn't because he didn't know.
Your guess is as good as mine. Nobody's infallible, Jen.
I'm just asking,
No, you're looking for an excuse to say it's not good enough. That's what
No, I'm just pointing it out.
I think everybody is either embarrassed or flawed or I think that Massie was always well-intentioned, but I do think something happened to him when his wife died. And I think he kind of had like an epiphany moment where he realized that I have to do what is necessary, even if it costs me my job. And as much as it may very well have cost him his job, legitimately or not, his decision was the right one. Because in the end, he has the courage of his convictions in a way that other people don't. Everybody knows about the USS Liberty that's on Capitol Hill. You can't not know about it. You can't not know that this is the only maritime attack in the history of our country in which we didn't retaliate.
Right.
That is a fact. Only one.
Right.
This wasn't some mistaken identity. This is very clear cut what this was. This was another attempt at a Gulf of Tonkin incident. We all know now Gulf of Tonkin was bullshit. That's why we ended up in Vietnam. We know that Vietnam escalation in part is why Kennedy was assassinated. We all know that the interests of Israel and the Greater Israel Project has always been at the forefront of their intentions. This goes back to its creation. And when people are seeing the Greater Israel Project now, it's not like this was something that they just thought of recently. This is something that they wanted back in 1967. And they probably would have gotten it if they sank the ship. They probably would have, because dead men tell no tales.
Who knows? Maybe, but it didn't seem to make that much of a difference either way. I don't know if it would have. Would they have then been able to say, oh, it was the Egyptians, so now we have, but they already were going after the Gulf Arab states. I don't know. I think in this particular case, it's really hard to know what would have transpired.
It is. But we're thankful that we have at least somebody like Massie today who's willing to do that.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Bernie Sanders was doing a Senate speech today, and Medea's people got in. I don't have the footage of it, but Medea put out a message basically saying that there were a couple of people that basically, were, calling Bernie out about the USS Liberty and Israel and our relationship. And rather than acknowledge them in their anger, he kicked them out. He said, get them out of here. So we know that Bernie's a cranky old bastard to begin with.
He's
but
also a Zionist.
he is.
So
Is.
you can't have it both ways, Bernie. You
No.
can't have it both ways. The liberal Zionism thing is not a real thing.
Well, I also think Bernie's, if he doesn't, I don't even know if Bernie cares anymore, but it's like at some point you have to realize that Israel is the issue. If you fuck up on this issue, you're fucked every other way to Sunday on every other issue. It doesn't matter. You will find that your path to any form of electoral success or legislative success is dead in the water, because this is not an issue that's going away.
No, it's only going to increase in the correct direction. So anybody who is counting on Zionists in terms of securing a vote somewhere, that in a few election cycles will be dried up. That's not going to be a thing anymore.
I want to show you guys something before we discuss the spying situation, which I think is a pretty big problem. I want you to see what a CIA-backed podcast looks like. Now, I know you're thinking, okay, well, how can you tell? Just observe.
Sometimes the world feels like it's on the edge. From conflict in Ukraine and the Middle East,
to culture wars dividing us here at home.
from Israel to immigration, it often feels like the West is losing its way.
And we want to explore how we can restore it. And that's why we created The Brink.
I'm Jake Wallace-Simons,
And I'm Andrew Fox. Every week we cut through the noise.
to uncover the real implications, the hidden angles, and the questions that others won't ask.
Some weeks it's just us going deep into the stories that matter.
And other weeks we'll be joined by sound voices in politics, current affairs, and culture, people who can help us make sense of where.
That matter.
And other weeks we'll be joined by sound voices.
Have you been?
Have you been?
Barry Weiss, Niall Ferguson. How about Bernard Henry Levy, Mr. Israel himself?
Make
Gross.
sense of where the world is heading.
New episodes land every Thursday on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else that you listen.
And if you want more exclusive content, ad-free listening, bonus conversations, and the chance to interact directly with us,
Then make sure you sign up to our Substack at thebrinkpodcast.co.uk.
we're just getting started.
And we can't wait for you to join us on The Brink.
Now that, ladies and gentlemen, is an example of a podcast that is backed by the State Department. No podcast randomly pops up with two bald-headed blokes from the UK, and their guests are already Barry Weiss, Bernard Henry Levy, and Douglas Have You Been Murray. Nobody
I don't know
goes
how
out-
anyone takes, I do not know how anyone takes that guy seriously. I just don't. He's ridiculous, truthfully.
Well, there's a reason why these stories are pretty serious, because I don't think people truly understand how serious this story is. Pentagon raised threat of Israeli spying on U.S. to highest level, sources say. Counterintelligence threat level was raised by the Defense Intelligence Agency in recent weeks after growing concerns that Israeli espionage had become more aggressive than usual. Jen, if you would, please.
Okay, where are we? Okay. The Pentagon is increasingly concerned about the genocidal entity ramping up its spying on the U.S., recently raising the counterintelligence threat level from America's top ally in West Asia to the highest level, according to 2 U.S. officials and 1 former U.S. official. Okay, also, guys, media literacy, red flag, officials, unnamed officials, red flag.
Yeah. rumors.
The Pentagon's Defense Intelligence Agency in recent weeks issued the new counterintelligence threat assessment amid rising tensions between the genocidal entity and the U.S. over the way forward in the war with Iran, the officials said. They said the DIA posted an internal message viewed by one of the current officials that raised the level for the genocidal entity to critical. You think? You think it's critical? The designation stems from concerns within the Pentagon that Ziohel is making a particular effort to surveil top U.S. officials to get information on the Trump administration's internal deliberations and decision-making on the conflicts in West Asia, the official said. That's what you want? That's what they want? They want to know about their decision-making? I really don't think there's a whole lot to that. I think they're going to be very sorely disappointed in that process.
Yeah.
The DIA assessment includes a 7-page document and features a chart according to one of the current U.S. officials. The document says the assessment of Ziohel is that its ability to conduct human espionage and technical collection is at its critical level, according to them. It also identifies a series of specific incidents that heightened U.S. concerns. A spokesperson for Ziohel said in a statement that it is completely false that Ziohel spies on the U.S. Ziohel does not gather intelligence on American entities, let alone U.S. government officials. Ziohel intelligence collection efforts are aimed at its enemies, not its allies.
Well,
Any claims to the contrary are either misinformed or politically motivated.
Yeah,
The Pentagon declined to comment.
of course they did.
A White House official, another nice vague person, said this entire story is false and sourced to someone who does not have any knowledge of what's going on. I would suggest that nobody there knows what's going on. The Office of the Director of National Intelligence, isn't that where Tulsi just said bye-bye? And isn't that, who is that now?
Let's talk about the fact that they put Bill Pulte, a guest.
Exactly. Guys, if you didn't know, Bill Pulte was a guest on our show way back in the early years, talking about, I remember it. It was talking about philanthropy.
Twitter philanthropy.
Yeah. And he was a douche canoe. So, where are we? The Director of National Intelligence did not respond to a request for comment. Shocking. Bill, is it because you're new to the job or you just don't know? I don't know. Hard to say. While it is commonplace for allies and adversaries across the globe to spy on each other, the current and former U.S. officials said Ziohel's recent efforts have gone well beyond what is typical and expected espionage. The officials did not know if a specific incident triggered the DIA's decision to raise the counterintelligence threat level.
And why do you think that is?
Well, I find fault in even believing any amount of this story. First of all, it's from NBC News. Second of all their sources are unnamed. So we're like, I'm waiting for the third strike on this one. So let's see what other media bias I can come up with here. The heightened alert comes as President Donald Trump and Ziohel Prime Minister Netanyahu have clashed over the war with Iran and Israel's military operations in Lebanon, including a fake bullshit tense phone call this past week. Trump acknowledged afterward to reporters that he called Netanyahu crazy during the call as questions about whether the two countries' objectives in the Middle East are beginning to significantly diverge. Yes, I'm sure the theatrics of it are so on point, Donald. Just like when Joe Biden did the same thing at the same basic, crossing point. Same thing. Since a ceasefire deal was reached, why am I reading? This is so stupid. A ceasefire was reached. Everybody, did you know there was a ceasefire in April? Trump has been pursuing a diplomatic deal with Iran to end the war. Peter,
Yes.
Why am I reading this? Okay. There is no diplomatic communication with Iran.
No.
They're not talking to us. So I don't know what sock puppets Trump is talking to that he thinks are representatives of Iran, but they're not talking with us. So anything that he says about talking with them is from the land of make-believe and sock puppets. So I don't understand why you want to, but tell me what more you want me to read from this silliness.
I won't, because you're getting annoyed and now I'll just have to do it.
You don't have to do it. I'm happy to read it. It's just silly.
Israel has publicly expressed skepticism that Iran would abide by any negotiated deal. No, no. The rest of the world is done with Israel and do not want to abide by. By the way, an interesting statistic just came out. I don't know if I think it might have been Reuters, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I think it was Reuters. Do you know what Israel's negative favorability rating is around the world today?
Negative favor. I don't know what that's such like it's like a double and a positive. So it would be a negative number.
Meaning, how many people view them in a positive light versus a negative light?
Oh, I would think that they would be under 12% positive.
It's even lower than that.
Wow. Okay, good.
97.55% negative opinion around the world.
Wow.
They're not going to last. Not going to last. And they shouldn't last. By the way.
No, they need to be lanced like a boil.
Yeah. So, and I do not want anybody putting any of this, well, it's kind of early, but I don't want to hear any scores of the final of the Knicks and the Spurs. But I heard, this is only probably a half true story, but I heard that Trump is not only attending the game at Madison Square Garden tonight, but he may be there with Netanyahu. I mean, I almost feel like the Knicks deserve to lose if they do that. Like if they allow them in there, like they should.
Well, you know, I'm a Spurs fan, so
Yeah.
this is all, it doesn't matter to me either way. So,
Well, Spurs winning is definitely a bonus for you.
oh, Spurs
Israel-
winning is always a bonus for me.
Yes. Israel is keenly interested in whether Trump decides to resume major combat operations against Iran or to end the conflict, the current and former U.S. officials and outside experts said. So it doesn't really matter what they think or what they say, because Iran wasn't about to wait. Iran decided to start shelling the shit out of Tel Aviv over the weekend.
Yeah, again, I don't know who Trump is speaking with, but it's not the Iranians.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
I think the most important part of this story, which I do
think
believe,
maybe he has like a snuffleupagus. You think Trump has like a snuffleupagus that tells him what's going on and says, I'm negotiating on behalf of you with Iran?
I feel like if I try to do Trump's voice right now, I'll hurt my
Just
voice.
don't. Just, yeah, no, we don't need to do.
That's not worth it.
We don't need.
What I will say, though, is that I think that the story is 1,000% true, that Israelis are spying on us. But I also believe that the level of spying that they've gotten to in this country is exponential at this point. And when you think about the prospect of Section 224 and what that would represent, speaking of the lone wolf who's willing to do right by the American people, Massie has made it clear that he is going to fight that amendment, and we'll do what we can to help. But if anyone has any doubt that Israelis are watching us on the regular,
and when you say us, you mean in particularly you and me, or in general?
No, I know they watch us. I mean, it's obvious.
That's what I was going to say. I know they watch me.
Have you seen some of the ads that get played on our channel?
No, because I don't get ads.
You'd be, if anybody wants to verify for me.
No, I know. I've heard that we get a lot of ads for Ziohel on our channel, which is so. Although it's up there with the fact that there's that, whoever that is, what the Tel Aviv Tarot, that says they disagree with us but like us. It's almost like their kink is hate watching.
Hmm. Well, I want to give a shout out to Polly. Listen, you are right. There are no watch parties. So here's a little tidbit about Trump going to Madison Square Garden tonight. So the Knicks, as you know, they haven't won an NBA championship in over 50 years, and they have a really good chance to win. And they've been having these watch parties all over the city, and they've been turning out a lot of people. All of those watch parties have been canceled for tonight, with the exception of one that Mayor Mamdani put together for over 5,000 people in Bryant Park. He said, all I need you to do is just register on this page, show up at Bryant Park, big watch party. You guys come out so you can enjoy the game. That's a mayor that gets it. Or he's just a person who gets it. It's not even about being a politician. It's just about common sense. And even though I'm sure he would like to have more people there, you know, he's doing what he can. And I'm not going to pull it up, but somebody asked the president what his thoughts were on the fact that the average ticket to get into the garden tonight is over $10,000. Average ticket. Most expensive ticket is $110,000. And so when the president was asked what his thoughts were about those ticket prices, he's like, well, you could just watch it on TV. Those are the breaks in life.
Well, look, I mean, we've never not acknowledged how overpriced it is in terms of regular people participating and watching professional sports, especially basketball. I mean, ever since the Heat came to South Florida, which was back in 89, it was never affordable. It was never affordable for regular people to go to a basketball game. So, it's never ceases to amaze me the amount of working people that are okay with being raped by team owners and the like in terms of having their offices be built by taxpayers.
Does that really surprise you, though?
No, but it's unfortunate. That's all I'm saying. It's unfortunate.
Pay close attention. This crystallizes everything we were just talking about.
And about the concerns we have about Israel.
Well, I think it is.
What is it?
Because I think what I'm reading is you believe the Israelis are actually hostile to our country.
Yes.
And are trying to do harm to it.
I'm going to keep playing this, but you have decades of documented examples of the Israelis spying on Americans. And they keep saying, don't do that, don't do that. And there's never any consequences. So why would they stop?
Can I say that the way that this is covered is a little bit annoying to me. All right. And that's because as someone who did read the Patriot Act, okay, I can assure you that our government spies on us. They spy on us. They spy on us all the time. They've been spying on us. So the idea that somehow people are so offended as to which government is spying on them is weird to me. Just like I don't care what language my oligarchs speak. I don't care who's surveilling me. I'm being surveilled. So that I'm just saying, it doesn't matter. I mean, yes, this is an extra layer of ew, but really, we're going to sit here and argue as to who should be allowed to spy on us.
Fair.
That's what we're discussing. We're gonna get hit for this music. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? Every time we're gonna get it takes me a second for it to register that you're sitting there and it's just music because I don't hear people talking. It takes me a minute, but that's how it goes badly for us. Yeah, I agree. The music's distracting as well. But
Oh, I turned it off.
I know, but now it's needs something. So you need to do something. What these are all articles that are flashing by
Hmm.
with different headlines over different spy instances that people are saying that Israel has spied on the US or on citizens. And
Correct.
is it right? So, in other words, this is not new.
Whoever said it was.
No. Well, I thought that was the point, was that we were talking about it because there was a new sort of report about how much Israel is spying on us.
Well, that is true, but I also think that, again, this is just my opinion. I don't have verifiable data where I could just say, yeah, that's true. But I do believe that the spying has been ratcheted up to an 11 because of the fact that they're losing control. And now I think they feel that they have sort of like an obligation to watch our every move at all times. Because if they don't do that, how else are they going to continue to fend this off? But you and I are both of the mind that Israel is on borrowed time in terms of its control over our country. Is that fair to say?
Israel is on borrowed time, period.
Yeah.
It's on borrowed time. I mean, with that kind, you don't even need to know that level of the approval rating. We're seeing it all over the place. Albania is not going to be the last place. This has been happening. In fact, I got something that came up that I saw where this was tried. We got a comment on one of our videos. I think I might have taken a picture of it. I should have taken a screenshot of it. And it was a gentleman that commented on the Albanian clip saying that he was Serbian and that the same thing happened there with Kushner and all the people on some sort of deal, and that all the people came out and they were able to stop the deal. Something happened in, I don't know. I'm losing my frame of reference, but yeah, he was Serbian. And so I do not know exactly which city or what location in that region he is speaking of, but yes. So they're going to keep having resistance, and they need to keep having resistance. They do not deserve a moment's peace.
No, but I also don't want to be again, no one wants to have violence. It should always be the method of last resort. But Jared Kushner, I mean, and he's not even that intelligent, which is what makes this even more interesting. You don't necessarily accuse people uh, of being anything other than the crooked bastards that they are, because that is what they are. And he in particular, I mean, I don't know, Ivanka, I can't really speak to her. I think that she's just a completely spoiled, entitled princess who's always had it her way. But I don't know. I think there's something.
I'm feeling a little story timey. You know what I mean? If we're going to be talking about that lovely couple, I think we should show them in all their invasive, parasitic vulture glory. So yes, here we have the male and female invasive parasitic vulture for you to see. Correct.
The thing that I think is always hard for people to recognize is where does the money come from? Sometimes you see people and you think, well, what did they do? How did they get their hands on all that money? And when you realize that the Kushners and the connections that they have and how far back they go, whether with the Maxwells, whether with the Rothschilds, when you get all the way up that ladder and you have these connections, you basically can, you run the world in many ways. And so this
Well, it explains a lot of things about Kushner's physical appearance.
Well,
You know what I mean?
how would you describe it?
Well, there's a lot of inbreeding is what you just described. So
Oh, wow.
it would make sense to me, it's sort of like when you would see old, royalty in countries where they purposefully would inbreed so they always would remain on the throne. So yeah, I mean, it does explain. I mean, he is freaky looking.
We've covered this before on our channel, but if you remember, I'm from a part of New Jersey that's not too far from where West Long Branch is. or just Long Branch, I should say. And this is the community that was flying 6 Israeli flags along with 1 American flag. And if you ask me, that was pretty messed up stuff. Colin, check your phone, please. At the time, I didn't know who was responsible for it, but I knew that somebody had to have been involved. And it turns out that it was Jared Kushner and his company that put those flags with Israel flags. They own, because Kushner owns that community. And when I want to replay a clip from, I mean, listen, Lex Friedman is another PSYOP. He's another State Department creation in many ways. But listen to what he said, what Kushner said to Friedman when he asked him about, how do you get all this money?
When was this?
This is from I want to say within the last 5 years. I don't remember exactly.
Okay, so it's fairly recent.
Yes.
And other topics. One of the most recent set of attacks comes on the topic of Saudi Public Investment Fund giving $2 billion to your investment firm after you left government. Can you respond to these recent set of attacks?
Sure. So left government, obviously worked for 4 years. I started thinking, like, what do I want to do next? Maybe I should create a business to do an investment firm where I can do something different. Oceans I wanted to be able to do with the firm was to be able to take money from the Gulf and then to be able to invest it in Israel.
Do you hear the way he talks?
Like a cyborg. We don't, this connects back to me. We were talking about that there really is no diplomacy. And a big part of that is we don't have diplomats. We have a whole bunch of real estate investors cosplaying as diplomats and pissing off everybody. That's what we have. We don't have diplomats. There are no functioning diplomats right now having meaningful exchange. We have people like this guy.
Do you think
They
Jared
just want to buy all the land? They think they can buy everything. That's the problem. They think they can buy everything. And places like, Albania and Iran are just, they're not for sale in the way that you would like them to be.
Do you think Jared will ever be a real boy?
No, I think he's a lizard person, and the caucasity level is off the chain with him.
The way he talks about global real estate, like he's playing a board game.
Yes.
Like, that's a level.
It's a psychopathy. Like, these people are not, he's a lizard person. I can't think of it. He must be a lizard person.
To continue to build the economic links between the countries. Again, if countries have more economic ties, I think war and fighting is less.
No, you think war is great.
Take that down. We're done with him, right? Please tell me we're done with Kushner. Make it go away. He can never be a real man because, first of all, I don't think he's a human.
He's an android.
So that would be right. So he might be male in whatever species he is, but I would definitely not call him a man. He has no concept of what it's like to be a man. None.
Yeah. I want to show you.
He's a little boy with a big checkbook, and no one's ever put him in his place. That's what he is.
Correct. However, you know how I said a little while ago that Israel's approval around the world has diminished to the point in which pretty much only the Zionists actually approve of them now? Well, it is unfortunate some Israelis do participate in MMA. And
my favorite, people beating the shit out of each other.
Sometimes they win, sometimes they lose. Fortunately, in this case, he won. This guy, Shamani is his name. Did they just make up words? Remember, it's a made up language.
I'm still outraged that they're allowed to compete.
Well,
in anything,
for Dana
anywhere.
White, it's all about money. So this was a reaction on Saturday night, because Saturday is always the night that these MMA fights happen. And so Here's the crowd reaction to the Israeli winning his match.
Well, for short notice, you lasted all 3 rounds. You came up with the win. Congratulations.
I want to dedicate this victory to my heroes, the IDF soldiers that protected my country.
Okay, that right there is a level of self-unawareness and just complete oblivion that is very, I think it might be unique to the Zio species. I don't know that any other species has that complete level of self-unawareness. Not sure.
Well, partially, I think the reason he's saying that is because he can hear the crowd is booing him. Like, overwhelmingly, they're booing him. And he's like, hey, how about this to piss you off? I want to dedicate this win to my fellow IOF soldiers.
Just like a Zio fuck to sit there and double down on clearly being hated.
Yeah.
They like it. They must like it. A psychopathy. This is a psychopathy.
Hey, you want to be martyrs? You're going to be. You're going to be martyrs.
No, they're not. They're not martyred. Martyrs are people that die for a cause. They're not martyred.
Maybe they're going to be.
They need to be eradicated like an infestation.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. Well, that's what should happen. But he's not done.
I can't. This is disgusting. Did you hear it? They're yelling "Free Palestine."
See, you have a very bad habit of talking over the talking because you're not listening, and I need you to listen.
No, the guy yelled "Free Palestine," though.
I understand that. Now you have to listen to what he says.
Thank you. And Israel, and call the free Palestine. Fuck you!
I heard that. That was the whole thing. He said that because he heard them yelling "Free Palestine."
Yeah, so he say "Free Palestine," then he says "F you." It's like, dude, get the fuck out of our country already. Like, just get out. Like, I know it's not going to happen.
I would suggest to people that support and again, I don't get off on watching people beat the shit out of each other. It's not my vibe. But for people who do, anybody who has any conscience about this, it's like any other sport organization. You know, put your money where your mouth is. Why are you supporting organizations that allow genocidal entities and people from genocidal entities to participate? I remember the 80s. I remember what was going on around the world when people were taking a stand against apartheid South Africa. I remember that. And if people hadn't done that, South Africa would still be an apartheid state. So, you know, we have power to some extent, but yeah. And attention to any MMA fighters that are in that. How can you cannot let these people win, like at any cost. This is one of those things where it would be, you would have to drag my dead carcass across that mat.
I would like to see Shimani fight Sean Strickland. That would be nice.
Yeah.
The biggest reason that they can do this, the biggest reason why they've always been able to get away with this is because they have money and they have power. And
exactly. Even Mel Gibson was against apartheid.
South Africa? Best scene of that movie is when Pesci and Glover.
We prefer siblings. Closer in age than might appear, but siblings.
We can hate each other, we can drive each other crazy, but if push comes to shove and somebody's giving us a hard time, we have each other's back.
Yeah. like we'll close ranks.
And can I also say one thing before our guest shows up? For those of you who watched our clip today about me talking about Jimmy Dore, and I gave Jimmy his flowers, as I often do if he gets things right. But the fact that you are so sensitive that I criticize Jimmy,
Oh no, I knew that was coming. I knew
you're
that
no
was
different
coming.
than him. You wonder how he cultivates his audience. You're just, let me tell you something. For those who, I'm not saying it's the same thing, but I'm going to give you a good example. We have a hero worship problem in our culture. We are constantly seeking upper management. We are constantly looking for somebody to tell us what to do. And in the end, we have to work together collectively if we're going to save our own ass. It's nice to have people that can lead, but it also helps when you can bridge divides. That's half the battle. And so if we don't learn to, Marvin, you're muted, Jen.
Okay. All Peter said and all we've ever said about Jimmy was what happened. It's just what happened. And I wasn't on the Saturday. I was in the chat, so I know what he said about Jimmy. And
That's a pretty good explanation. I would say that that's fair. Yeah.
Whatever it is, I honestly, and Peter can vouch for this, more often than not, would rather never discuss Jimmy. Like I never want to talk about that. He was in a position to help us, and he chose not to. And instead chose to sort of participate in a sabotage, whether by just being complicit or active, I don't really know. And so I really have no reason. Now, when he's right, but he is not somebody that I would want to work with. That's just not somebody I would want to work with. But if he's on the right side, he's on the right side. Goody for him.
Yeah. And we would say, listen, we would say the same about, people that we're friendly with that end up breaking bread with certain people that might end up compromising their integrity and the quality of their
He
work.
rebukes it. I'm going to need some more information about that. Because there is nothing that will piss me off more than an alcoholic rebuking cannabis usage. So by all means.
Now, apparently Jimmy stopped drinking as well, which is good. But why
so now he's just judgy in general about
other
people.
Why hate on weed, though? I don't understand that.
I don't know. You know what? Yeah, I'm not with that. There are certain people that are addicts. Their personalities are addicts. They're addicts. And they're going to be addicts no matter what the substance is. There's just certain people, that's what they do. They're addicts. And they can quit using that substance, but that doesn't change their personality from being that of an addict. And I have been very clear on this, and I've told you this many times. The one thing that I don't do, Jen doesn't do addicts. I have been very fortunate in my life to not have to be stuck with any. And so I have made a very conscious effort to not engage with them.
Lisa, anybody else? I dropped a clip earlier this afternoon where I talked about Jimmy and what he's been doing that's right lately, but also,
Jimmy's wasted. Well, and again, if he's newly on the wagon, good for him. But I had not ever seen him not wasted at any of his shows.
You
so,
see the
which was no different than we saw him. He was lit.
And I don't want to be, again, I'm not trying to be judgmental here, but it's one thing, there really is a difference if what you're drinking is a glass of wine or a beer.
Jimmy believes, okay, well, that matters to me about as much as something that like RFK would say or Dr. Oz. Okay, we're in that vicinity if we're talking about, I'm not sure what Jimmy's medical credentials are, but he very well might have a lot of experience with psychiatric problems. That he might have experience with, but I don't know that he has the medical credentials to be, speculating about things.
I've been to events. I've been to events where Jimmy was drinking martinis. Like that's
when we saw him, he was drinking martinis.
Yeah, like
throughout
that's
the show.
like if you're doing his version of a stand-up routine and that's what you're drinking, that's never a good sign. That's not, a beer or just water.
You know what I think about Jimmy right now? Seriously?
Oh boy. He made the list.
He's made the list, and I have a fresh little bowl here, so I'm very excited.
I always like when
For
we
you,
have
Jimmy. And if it causes psychiatric problems, I guess it will remain to be seen.
To be honest, I think of cannabis in a lot of ways like scented candles. It's actually very good for your mental stability. I think that
I know it's kept in a sort of, I guess we would call it a transferent way. It's kept you alive for the past 7 years. Thanks for me smoking it.
I guess so. I do want to say, though, that I think Jimmy can be very insightful. And I also think the world of his wife, Steph. I think she's a lovely lady. I've always gotten along with her.
That's neither here nor there. Okay, so I will put this out there. For people who have an issue with me or don't like me, just like Peter. And then it won't matter if you have an issue with me. Or if you have an issue with Peter, just like me. And then it won't matter.
They like you, Jen. They really do.
You all really like me.
Jen, what is going on with this guest? This is the second time.
You're asking me like I know him personally, and it's my guest that I scheduled. Trust me, if I was scheduling a guest, it would not be someone I don't know. I would bring on someone that I know and just sit here and shoot the shit all night and enjoy myself. So I don't know what is with the guest. He was given his thing. He fritzed Rachel. So, what more do you want? And for people who do not know what a fritz is, Steph is cool. I have no problem with Steph. We call it a fritz when Rachel sends out the link to the guest and they very quickly respond that they got it. Or when they respond, that's called being fritzed, because Dennis Fritz is like always reliable like that. So now when somebody responds, she's like, I got fritzed. And then it's just a matter of how long it takes you to get fritzed from when she sends the link. So she got fritzed. That's all I can say to you. We've been stood up by people before, Peter. It's not like it hasn't happened. We'll be okay. Do I condemn? Okay, first of all, I will never be happy about anybody's dog dying. That is, I would feel a lot better if it was Brownie was alive and Vance was being buried. I would,
Unless you're an Israeli and you're a psycho and you support.
I'm talking about dogs. I don't care about the person. I'd rather it be the dog watching JD Vance get buried.
I would talk with Jimmy. Why not?
Jimmy doesn't want to talk to us. That's the whole thing. If Jimmy had ever wanted to talk to us, he could have always talked to us. I've texted him years ago. Jimmy could have talked to us. Jimmy could have given us the time of day.
And Jimmy knows we're friends.
Other than when I went up and spoke to him after his show very cordially and, said hi or whatever, after he totally dissed us. And yet I've never spoken to him. I really don't. I kind of feel like there's a cult vibe that surrounds him. And that is a big turnoff to me in general. But I feel like that about a lot of content people. Once you guys get into groupthink, where it's just a matter of whatever they say, and once you get into groupthink, now you're in a cult.
Yeah.
And now I'm not interested. So, yeah.
Well, let's lighten the mood because we're not waiting. So let's have a little fun.
I don't know that we can have fun. Can we have fun, guys? Okay. We're going to have fun. Okay.
When you think about the biggest sellout douchebags in all of media, it's really hard to pick somebody I mean, listen, there's plenty to pick from, but Dave Rubin is on a specific level of stupidity and incompetence.
Talk about self-hating. That is one of the most self-loathing individuals I've heard
ever.
What?
This is a guy who took full advantage of jank when he was at TYT, went the conservative route, and listen, I saw him do a sit-down interview with Marianne Williamson, and she destroyed him. And so he decided to go on with that Jubilee group. I think the format is just so stupid, but
are you gonna make me watch this?
Oh, this is good.
Oh no, I don't have enough weed. Hold on.
This guy is. I don't know if this guy knew what he was getting himself into by sitting down.
I cannot.
But his defense of endless war, especially Israel and war with Iran, well, this is what numbnuts had to say.
So does Dave Rubin think he can debate? Like he thinks he's the debater.
He does. He does. But it'll be good.
Disastrous war, the quote unquote disastrous war that you're talking about. You're talking about a 40-day military operation that stopped an apocalyptic regime from getting a nuclear bomb and exporting terrorism throughout the world. And
Can we just point out the fact that we are supremely confident at this point that Iran has a nuclear bomb?
Oh yes. Yes, I'm just laughing at the way he refers to it like they're the scary ones to have a nuclear weapon. Not our regime. Not the regime that has more than 800 bases and is bullying the whole world and has nuclear weapons. The regime that just got one to defend itself against us. That's the problem.
For sure.
Who takes him seriously? Does anyone who follows him? He's like Shapiro.
I can't decide who's more pathetic.
We're now in an economic embargo of them, right? We've basically done a blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. So to say it's a disastrous war,
we've done a blockade.
We did lose. Hang on. We did lose 13. We did lose 13 of our soldiers, and that is
killed over
terrible.
200 children.
But things happen in war, right?
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Well, things do happen in war.
Yeah.
Dave, I really don't know much about this man other than he's very self-loathing. Isn't he like go with all the evangelical crap and he's gay? Isn't that this guy?
But he forgives them.
Right. Okay. He's showing his whole ass. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Why would he sign up for this? Why would his PR person sign him up for this?
Maybe he secretly hates him.
Well, this is
That's
go ahead.
Well, things do happen in war. You can laugh at that. Hold on. Listen, you want to talk?
If Donald Trump wanted to prevent the Islamic Republic of Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon, he could have just stuck with the Iran nuclear deal that he ripped up. Iran did not enrich past the 3.67. Wait, they didn't enrich past the 3.67% agreed upon in the JCPOA. They only got to 60% after Donald Trump left that deal.
I'm impressed with your talking points. You got impressive talking points, and you memorized them well. They're not correct, but I am impressed.
Okay.
First off, the Iranians admitted in the negotiations right before the war started that they were enriching past what they were allowed to. That's number one. Number two, can you agree or verify their claims? It's one thing to say, oh, this is what.
So it's always good when you get fact checked in real time.
Oh my God, this man is so stupid. Again, I use the term man very loosely.
Analyses show Iran did not enrich uranium beyond the JCPOA's 3.67% limit until after Trump pulled the U.S. out of the nuclear deal. Iran started exceeding that cap in 2019 in response to the withdrawal. Yeah, they're protecting.
They waited though. Let's be very clear. Iran followed the JCPOA for a good year after Trump pulled us out of it. They were still abiding. It wasn't for a while until they said, you know what, screw this.
Yeah.
What we're doing, this is what we are agreed to, et cetera. But you have to be able to verify that. And the idea that we have people on the ground or the UN or some third-party organization that can verify what they're actually doing.
The IAEA assessments agree with me, and Tulsi Gabbard, our Director of National Intelligence, testified in front of Congress last year, and according to the entire intelligence community, Iran did not have a nuclear weapons program.
Okay, that they didn't have a nuclear weapons
Yes.
program. They were enriching past the point that they were
Do you
allowed to for civilian use. Everyone knows that. But allow me.
But do you
allow
understand
me
a
to
weaponization
roughly,
process is different than
let me ask
just
you something.
enriching?
Do you think the Iranian regime before this war, the Iranian regime that has oppressed the people of Iran for 40 years, do you think that was a good regime? Would you say that was a good government? Would you like to live under those people? Were they progressive in any way? Do they hold any of the values that any of you guys hold?
No, but we don't
curious.
just we don't just start wars on countries whose politics we disagree with or who are oppressive to their own people. We're actually an ally to Saudi Arabia.
No. No, actually, we're not.
This is why I don't like debates. It's stupid. It's stupid. This reminds me of Jerry Springer-esque kind of vibe, because nobody's watching that and learning anything. Nobody's watching that and having their opinion be changed. All that, it's like, it reminds me of professional wrestling versus actual wrestling, right? Like there's real wrestling, and then there's pro wrestling, then like there's real debating, and then there's whatever this nonsense is. That's not real debating. That's silly.
I don't have to show you how stupid Dave Rubin is with a multitude of different clips. There's a reason I specifically pulled up a clip for you guys to see what he did on Jubilee and how he made such a horse's ass out of himself, because he is dumb. He is a paid shill. And he decided to go on with Jillian Michaels to complain, basically go to therapy.
Well, she's a shill, so that's perfect.
Yeah. This is if I don't know if you guys have seen this, but I think this just came out today. This is a level of cope that I've never seen before from somebody who was like, "Wait a minute, did I get my ass kicked on that show?" Yeah, you did. And this is his therapy session that he had to go through with Dr. Drew and Jillian Michaels.
But might I suggest, Dave, don't debate people. This guy, he showed up for a gunfight with a spoon. I don't know why he thought he could debate people. He's just not
honestly
that smart.
I honestly believe several of them would have killed me if given the opportunity, truly. And you all know my guy Joey, who works for me, and he said to me after, he said, "Dave, I made a choice halfway through that if one of them was going to attack you, I was going to get involved." Because that's the level of tension. Like I could feel the daggers coming at me. The ones that mostly they had horrible scowls on their faces.
I was so scared. It's not that I was an idiot and didn't know what I was talking about. It was that I was so threatened by them. They were so angry
well, first off,
at me.
The disastrous war, the quote unquote disastrous war that you're talking about. You're talking about a 40-day military.
This looks like a very threatening crowd that he was sitting with, Jen. They look like they were going to run.
And they're all so rolling their eyes and shaking their heads, and they're laughing at him because he's showing his whole ass.
This is a threatening crowd, like extremely.
They were pulling out the pitchforks for him. Especially go back to the cute girl in the little brown tank top. She looks very threatening. Yeah, it's her. Look at her. It's horrifying.
Maybe he probably thinks boobs are a weapon of some kind.
Well, he's probably very scared of women. He's very scared of women.
Because he's gay?
Very threatened by women. Yeah. No, not because he's gay. Because he's a small, no, he's scared of women because this is what we're dealing with. Seriously, there's nothing to do with him being gay. Love the gays. The fact of the matter, I feel bad that the gays have to claim him.
I love the gays too. I might just be one myself.
But the ones that smiled at me actually seemed like the most dangerous because they were like Joker smiles.
And the weird Joker smiles, it was so distracting and so unpleasant. You can't have discourse. I don't know how you pulled it off.
Truly, to sit around 20 people that have nothing but hatred for you, like there wasn't even I tried my best. I kind of didn't want to do it because I've just been through enough versions of the internet and dealt with that.
She can't even keep a straight face, and look. And she's Botox to the hilt, and she can't keep her face straight. Jesus, Jillian.
She's like, are we at least going to get some decent ratings out of this? I think that's all they were really concerned about.
He is actually sitting here and talking about this like somehow he was victimized by a group of people, and he just out of nowhere. No, Dave, you volunteered to get publicity. So you went on a show that you really shouldn't have gone on because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And you had your ass handed to you by how many people go in that Jubilee?
20.
Okay. So look, some people like to get, have their people have their way with them by a whole bunch of people at one time, I guess. I don't know.
What are you implying, Jen?
I'm just saying Dave looks like someone who needs a lot of attention, is what I'm implying.
So you say.
The hate and the whatever. My team really wanted me to do it. I was like, you know what? I'll give it. I'll do it. Whatever. It's not a big deal. I tried to say I'll show you a little respect to start this thing. They offered nothing for 2 hours and 55 minutes. I think I did a very nice job. I did have one blip moment where I kind of blanked on something, and I fully grant that.
David, that sounds ridiculous.
Because it is ridiculous.
I'm glad that Larry King.
He's such a victim. He valiantly went in there to take on all these vicious, hateful demons. And he went in there and they were just coming at him, especially the cute girl in the brown tank top. Like, really? The way he says that is if there isn't video evidence of the entire interaction. Like, I don't understand how he can say that.
I can appreciate a good reference to It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yes, that's my point. That is exactly my point. And I was trying to be a little bit more eloquent. Apparently, he doesn't like to get, slammed by just one person. He likes a whole group. That's for him. I don't debate because I don't want to get into it with people. I could debate him.
Me?
No, Dave Rubin.
Oh.
But yeah, I could debate you too.
We'll see what happens when we're Scrabble, Monopoly, and
you think Clue. You're going to beat? I know it's still, you guys, it's so cute.
Yeah. Well, I haven't played board games
Peter
in a while.
thinks he's going to beat me at Scrabble.
Yeah, I'm going to try. Quincy
and look, you can make a valiant effort. I want to explain something too. When I say this, guys, I don't say it because I'm so conceited or I think I'm just all that. Although I will say SAT 700 verbal, 400 math. Sort of like the reverse of Rain Man. But why I say it, guys, is you see this? Ooh. Hours. I do word games. That's like, it's what I do. It's my jam. So it would be like if I were, a swimmer challenging me to a swim, right? Like it's the same thing. You're challenging me to my thing. It's not your thing. It's my thing. So just saying.
The truth is, if you want to actually get good at something, you have to compete against those that.
Well, then you're coming to the right place because I come from a very long line of Scrabble players. I seriously, in my family, that was like a thing. So
I just think Israel is having a much more difficult time in trying to defend their ideology. And at the same time, they're going through a speed run of their destruction. Got to tell you, that guest Mr. Craven better get here quick because we're running out of stories for the evening. I wasn't going to stack too many because of my cold, but
I have a couple of things we can talk about. Okay, Peter and I cannot be siblings. No, we can't be. It's not possible. And we are definitely not married.
No, Jen's chosen. I'm part.
Oh yeah, I'm chosen. All right, that's what I am. So chosen. Oh yeah, that's me.
I looked up Kushner's background and just says Ashkenazi Jewish. That's all it says.
That's all mine says too, Peter. So that lumps me in the same category with Kushner. Although again, my ancestry results came back shockingly. I had Tamil Indian and Han Chinese. I was very excited because I really did think it was going to come back 100%. Ashkenazi Jew boring, right? But no, I have Tamil Indian in me.
Your son definitely looks.
He looks Asian. Yeah, Reese looks Asian. My older has often gotten confused, and people have thought that he is half Asian.
I'm sure that messed up Jason for a while. He's like, something you want to tell me?
No, I mean, look. Whatever. Reese, and now we know 5 generations removed from Han Chinese.
It's amazing.
It makes sense.
It is. Oh yeah,
Reese
you can see.
Reese has, and he has very stick straight hair that is not like anybody else's hair on either side of the family. It's very interesting. Yeah.
Speaking of the people who think that they're chosen, but they're actually really, I know Jen didn't want me to cover her, but I felt it was necessary because this was
whatever you want to do it, do it. I'm just disappointed that I don't have an appropriate graphic for that bitch. She's another one that I need. I'm glad I'm not around. She's another one that I feel like I get arrested.
Well, she's tit stick in a lot of ways. You
know, no, don't insult my friend, the tit stick. We've had this discussion. The tit stick is a tit stick, but she's very nice. Don't use that term derogatorily.
I want to set this table for everybody. For those who don't know who Lizzy Savetsky is, this is a quintessential Upper East Side Zio rich bitch in New York. Married a plastic surgeon, probably is very bored, decided to become, along with Emily Austin, two of the primary featured female $7,000 check posters, and doesn't hide the fact that she is a paid op for the Israeli cause. Now, Elon Gold and not Elliot Gould know the difference, because I don't think
difference. No, it's a big difference.
Big difference. I don't think Elliot was a Zionist, if I remember correctly. But this guy, Elon Gold, excuse me, he thinks he's funny. He thinks rape jokes are funny, especially about dogs, but they're really not. And
this is where we get to where I go to the really dark place. This is where I go to the really dark place, where I feel myself wishing things for people that I don't ever want to be. This is not okay. It's not okay that I wish things like this for people.
No.
I feel like can we catch psychopathy? Because that's somewhat of a concern to me in this world right now. That I can't, I'm as isolated as I can be, but I feel like even through this, I can somehow catch psychopathy.
Try explaining this one then.
Festival, which is a very prestigious fall.
It's a really big deal.
It's a really big deal, and for a film made in Israel, that's pretty damn cool. I was only raped by 2 Israeli dogs.
I thought they only rape Palestinians.
No, I got also a dog.
Music. Oh, they did? Tribeca condemned the comments?
Why do you think they condemned
That'll solve the problem. That'll solve the problem.
Why do you think they condemned it?
That is, people, a prime example. That is a prime example of someone who has never been properly put in their place in the formative years of their life. And that's just a reality. The level of entitlement oozes from her, even more than her Botox, oozes. Ugh, she's so gross. Let me never bump into any of these people. The idea that my very first felony arrest could end up being because of one of these twats is really disappointing to me. I feel I've lived a much more interesting life than it coming down to people like her and Loomer. I know that about De Niro. When I play the De Niro clip, it's because of the Al Capone character. I understand that it's De Niro. Looking good, Kenman.
I am going to do a deep dive on De Niro. It's not something that you could just talk about in one clip, but
I understand. Do I still have to remove my video? I don't want to remove my video. I love my video.
De Niro is the founder of the Tribeca Film Festival in conjunction with Jane Rosenthal. And all you have to do is just read up on De Niro's comments regarding Israel. But he hates Trump, so that makes him okay.
He got annoying to me so long ago. I know. Guys, I'm still not taking down my Al Capone video because it really does express my sentiments very well.
Tribeca slams Palestinian dog rape joke made by the wedding entertainers Elon Gold offensive and unacceptable. Well, if it was so
he's
offensive,
a wedding entertainer, so of course we should be interviewing him on a red carpet full of a bunch of nobody, zombie, brainless, vapid people, and his comments should be this important.
Scrolling on this. Yeah,
he's a wedding planner.
He's a wedding planner.
Isn't that what that said?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, coordinator. I'm sorry. He's a wedding coordinator.
Oh, Franz. Is he like Frank? Is it Frank?
Basically.
He's Frank. Okay. Yes. What I want to know is, why would the Tribeca Film Festival hire Lizzy Savetsky? Like, what was the thought process going into that?
The same reason anybody has ever hired her. Because her husband's rich and has paid her way into everything she does. Or it's the same concept as Laura Loomer, and she's just really good at what she does in a private way. Because I can't figure out what it is about her. So either her husband's bought her in, or she's good at satisfying people.
Well, that's definitely more.
I don't know. Pick your poison.
Would you do the honors, please?
Sure. Tribeca Film Festival has responded after an offensive Palestine joke made by the wedding entertainer star, it's a show, Elon Gold, at the movie's Thursday premiere. I thought he was a wedding coordinator. Honestly, 6 of one, half a dozen the other. In a statement, a festival spokesperson condemned the offensive and unacceptable joke made to a red carpet influencer about being raped by 2 Israeli dogs while filming there, making light of the alleged systemic torture and rape of Palestinians in Israeli prisons. The Tribeca Festival is this is the quote, so I guess this is the official statement. The Tribeca Festival is aware of the concerns raised regarding a clip circulating on social media and unequivocally condemns the offensive and unacceptable remarks made by Elon Gold and Lizzy Savetsky at the premiere of The Wedding Entertainer. Oh, by the way, in parentheses, it says the tale, wait, go back, Colin. Next to The Wedding Entertainer, apparently the subtitle is The Tale of Moishe Badhan. Interesting. Nobody's interested in Moishe. Sexual violence, again, this is from the Tribeca spokesperson. Sexual violence and human suffering should never be mocked or minimized. The comments do not reflect the Tribeca Festival's values, but yet they do. And we regret the hurt and offense that they have caused. We have not been able to reach the filmmakers. All right, so people, the translation of this is, we regret that he said that and people got butthurt, but we have no regret about the fact that those things have happened. That's what that is. They're not upset that there's a genocide. They're not upset that there has been rape, reported many reports of rape of Palestinian hostages. They're upset that a joke about it might be offensive. You think? I can't with these people.
Do you still like Barbra Streisand?
We've talked about this. I know she is. I don't care about it. This isn't personal. If it was Dolly, we'd be having a serious problem. I don't have a personal thing because of Barbara. I will just arguably say she is one of the greatest singers of all time. You can argue whatever you want about her personally.
I disagree.
And from a distance is Bette Midler.
Well, speaking to Savetsky,
you can disagree all you want. This is coming from someone whose only primary source of music is Bruce Springsteen. I am saying, arguably.
Why do you make statements like that?
Because you can't. Barbra Streisand isn't one of the greatest singers. Come on, seriously, you just don't like her.
I don't like her, but
I get it, but that doesn't make her not good at that.
Should put it to a vote.
Let's put it to a vote. I don't know that our people in our chat can be remotely unbiased and take the Zio bitch thing out of it. And I don't know if Bet is into the Zio. You don't have to like her music. All right. See, this is, you know what? Forget that I ever ask you people. You guys are going to, I don't need to, we should do a poll. It isn't personal. It isn't personal.
While speaking to Savetsky on Thursday's red carpet of the Village East Cinema,
Now you're being insane.
Gold took pride in the Giddy Dar-helmed film shooting in Israel, while making a joke about the reported rape of Palestinians in Israeli prisons, including alleged instances of bestiality. No, it's not alleged.
First of all, alleged, there's video. So, yeah. Do you see how this is written? Again, media literacy, guys. It's very important. Continue. Oh, Gold said in a widely circulated clip, it's a really big deal. And for a film made in Israel, that's pretty damn cool. I was only raped by 2 Israeli dogs. What kind of sick fuck says something like that? Who says that? All right, and then this is where I go. I actually would like that to happen to him, except for that it's abusive to dogs. So that brings me back to that these people are going to have to be punished with inanimate objects. And I'm so disgusted with myself that I sit here and think that I wish this for him, but I do. I wish that all of these people get what they think has been okay that's been done to the Palestinians. I want them all to have that. Everything you've joked about, everything you thought was funny, that includes you, Van Jones, dead Gaza baby. All of those people, I want to get what they have thought was acceptable for other people. So I thought they only raped Palestinians, quipped Savetsky, to which he responded, no, I got also a dog. Huh. This bitch. I don't even know.
How about this?
Who
Sources
raised you?
Again, she's an Israeli. So
Oh
there
my
you go.
God. No, is she Israeli or a Reformed Jew? I think she's Reformed Jew. I don't think she's Israeli. I don't think so. The husband is some rich doctor, plastic surgeon person who apparently has done a lot of experimenting on her, for whatever that's worth. I'm telling you, these girls, they have never been put in their place. Exactly. Where is she from?
She's from Fort Worth, Texas.
Okay, thank you. She's not Israeli.
She's just
not that makes it any better, people. It's just it's a difference. It's a distinction without a difference.
Can we just focus on the?
Yes. Sources tell Deadline that Savetsky was not credentialed by the Tribeca Film Festival, but she was invited to cover the red carpet by the film's team. Following the coordinated Hamas attacks on Ziohel, which killed people and took people hostages, investigators and human rights organizations have reported systemic torture and rape against Palestinians in Ziohel prisons, including bestiality. Meanwhile, the death toll of Ziohel's genocidal campaign in Gaza has surpassed, I'm going to go with 500,000 people. I reject that. 75,000 people. That's absurd. This is a very shitty publication. But then again, people, any legitimate, decent publication wouldn't be talking about Lizzy Savetsky. Not by name, anyway. I hope so. I hope so. I'm very hopeful. And at a minimum, the few things that I predicted would happen from this interaction with Iran, I do believe will happen. I do think we will see the end of Ziohel. I think we're going to see the end of our business and our place in West Asia. And I think that we are also solving the Taiwan problem in the way that it was going to be solved anyway, but we're facilitating the Taiwan problem. Or it's not a problem for us. I think it's great, That's what I think. I would say that, yes, I always, in my mind, whatever number they put out, I generally multiply it by 10. Because again, if somebody from the Zionist state, if their lips are moving, they're lying. So, and the Palestinian Authority, they can't, or the Gaza, what's it called? The Gaza Health Administration, whatever. They can only account for what they can see. The majority of people or bodies are missing. So they don't get counted as dead. Also, what doesn't get counted in the death numbers are people that have died from subsequent problems as the result of a genocide as opposed to direct bombing. So the people that are dying from malnutrition and disease and, not having clean water and infections because they can't get antibiotics and all of those types of things, that's not included in the numbers. So we already know the numbers are bullshit. No, Peter hasn't let go of the steering wheel. Peter's sick and he doesn't feel good. What about Natalie Maines? Love her.
Yeah,
Talk to me about that badass chick. I love her. What happened, Henry? What did she do? One of my biggest regrets was not taking a bigger stand on that when it happened, by the way. And if people are not aware, Natalie Maines is the lead singer of the Dixie Chicks, which is now called the Chicks. And back in, I want to say it was 2003 or whenever it was that we started the first bullshit nonsense. She was on a stage, I believe it was in the UK, and she essentially said she was embarrassed to be from the same state as W. Bush. And for that, they got blackballed, their music was not played, and they got trashed. And I, at the time was not anywhere near as appreciative of the variety of music that I am now, but I definitely should have taken a much bigger stand.
We're gonna wrap early tonight, but I do want to address one little point before we go about Graham Plattner and watching the level of desperation on the Democratic Party establishment's part to sabotage his campaign. And just understand that it's never been about the issues. It's never been about the policies. It's always been about protecting the status quo and protecting the broken system that they benefit from.
No, our guest stood us up. So guys, this was the second time we've tried with this guest. The first time had to get rescheduled and now we're being stood up. So apparently we're not having a guest, which is not cool because yet once again, I went and did my research and did my homework for it, but that's okay. How am I in full Karen mode? Why am I getting in Karen mode? What the hell did I do?
You didn't do anything.
But I will say that this guest will not be being rescheduled for a third time. We don't do that. We don't play that here.
No.
I mean, unless it was, like Dolly or something like that. Like if it was somebody I really wanted to talk to, then I would probably just keep rescheduling.
Not too many people like us. What can we do?
You think that's what it is? I don't think so. This guy didn't not show up because of us. The guest is Jasper Craven, or was supposed to be Jasper Craven, and he has a book out, and it has to do with the military, and it's really interesting, and it's unfortunate. His name's Jasper Craven, guys, but I just, for me, I don't do, two times, twice is enough.
One of the people that actually was an Israel supporter that changed was Brando, and he actually became very vocal about it.
Brando was always on the right side of history. Brando understood the concept of indigenous culture that in a way that most people didn't back then. Brando was always he was also bisexual. He was Brando was on the correct side of history for a lot of reasons. He was very progressive before there was really progressive.
He was. And it is unfortunate, but as we pointed out many a times,
because he's traveling. And when you travel, you fly on a petri dish with a whole bunch of other people, and they're funkus. And somebody sitting behind you clipping their toenails, like on the armrest.
Somebody really do that shit to you?
No, not to me. But that's just the kind of thing I think of when I'm in an airplane, is somebody putting their feet up and how gross that is.
I think you're thinking of John Candy in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
That was also a thing. There's been a few movies with really gross foot bus scenes that I've seen. Also, Road Trip, great movie. Did you watch Road Trip?
The
You
one
see
with
Amy Smart on the bus trying to go
Yeah.
find him, and there's some guy like trying to suck on her toes.
Yeah, he's like, can I just find somebody who's just normal? Yeah.
This guy's just trying to lick her toe. Do you remember when we first started the show and somebody offered us money if I would show my feet?
Listen,
Peter did not like that offer at all. I was willing to do it. Like, I'll show
it's
you.
not even that. It's the fact that there's just, I am just thankful that I am actually, at least in my own mind, when it comes to things that you enjoy, I think I'm a fairly well-adjusted, normal individual. Some people are just how
I
they
don't
are.
know. I don't know.
At the end of the day, if you're not hurting anybody, it's your business. But it is what it is.
How do you hate feet, Medi? How would you walk without them? Don't hate feet. You need them.
I think Medi's, I don't know what it is, but Medi's an attractive girl, and unfortunately,
Look,
attractive.
I didn't say I was into feet. I said somebody offered
No, you're
money
not
on the
listening.
chat to see my
You're not
feet.
again. You're doing this again. You're not letting me speak, and I've seldom spoken this evening. Not that I really want to, anyway. But attractive women get feet solicitation constantly. I have no doubt. I think that's like
You
a fairly.
saw what happened, and I'm not even claiming that I'm not attractive, but I'm saying they did want to see the feet.
So for whatever reason, I think that it's obviously it's for sexual gratification. Like that's what it's about.
And that's fine if it's if it's mutual. That's great.
That's fine. Whatever. Do what you want. But
I
some
actually
people
don't care. If somebody wanted to see my feet, they could see my feet. Well, right now they're not in the best condition, but normally I'm totally fine with somebody seeing my feet.
I think Jen wants somebody to pay her to foot model. I think that's what it is.
No, not ever since I moved to this farm. I'm telling you, my legs and feet have taken a beating. I feel like there are no more, like the feet are not soft. They're not like all, it's, farm life. It's a gateway solicitation. Yeah. Look, I'm familiar with people that say that kind of thing. I used to work at Hooters in college, guys, so I am very familiar with the concept of gateway solicitation. I had a whole girl in some women's studies class go off on me in Boulder saying that I was contributing to rape culture.
Why?
Because I was working at Hooters.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Really, Maddie? Do you have good feet?
Can we please get off this subject now? Please. This is really annoying. Not that I don't have a problem with women's feet, but for the love of God, like this is like it becomes like an obsession. Like it's just come on.
Everybody has their ish.
Yeah. And of course I was right. It turns out that
first of all, Sander, we didn't have cell phones when I was in college. So it's not like there's like this long array of photo spread. I worked at the Hooters in Boulder, Colorado in my sophomore and part of my junior year in Boulder. And it was really good money. And it was the most money I could make serving food under 21 because it was beer and wine only. I am pragmatic, if not anything else.
I have to go and take my
All right. Peter has man sick.
Camu.
It's man sick.
Why do you call it that?
We all know why we call it that.
I don't.
I know. No, Peter actually has decent feet. I mean, I don't know that he'd be foot model material. They're very flat. His feet are very flat.
I'm gonna lose my shit.
I'm sorry. They're talking about it in the chat.
No, you are playing into this because you started it and now the chat's in it and now you're not stopping.
It's funny because we have a good chat. It's funny. If only you could find joy in the small things.
Not when I feel like shit. But anyway, man.
Exactly.
I don't know what it means. What does it mean?
Maybe that's just for us ladies to understand. Yes, Sable knows. We know.
Yeah, I like how the women know this, but the men have.
They all know. They all know.
Anyway, the point I was trying to make is pay close attention to how much worse. I have had Manuka honey. It's very good.
See, Colin knows what man sick is because his wife tells him.
Why can't you just say it? What the fuck?
What is man sick?
Yeah.
It's how men are always okay. So for every cold a man has, a woman in that same household, it would be go with that same cold, working 3 jobs, taking care of the kids, driving the carpool, and he's lying in bed with a Kleenex, asking her to bring him some juice. That's what a man sick is. Ladies, did I explain that properly? Thank you.
Anyway, pay attention to how they're going to come after Plattner, but what they're going to continue to do is expose themselves as the hypocrites that they are. Joan Walsh decided to rear her stupid head again. Coming in. Yeah.
I don't think I know who that is.
She was one of Hillary Clinton's like closest acolytes. She's like a Neera Tanden type. You know, these overwoke privileged libs talking about Plattner.
Karen. But they don't really give a shit about what they're saying they care about with him. That's the problem. If they would at least be honest about what their real issue is with him, at least then it would be remotely respectable. But they can't even say what their issue. They don't care that he's an anti-Semite or has any sort of sexual assault allegations or whatever it is they're dragging him in about. Like whatever it is, they don't care. They don't care. They don't care because their president digitally assaulted Tara Reid. And they didn't care about that. So they don't care about these things about Graham Plattner. What they don't like is that he is a populist and that he actually fights for working people. That's their real problem.
That's true. And he speaks out against Israel. Jen is also somebody who's never been properly put in her place as an only child.
Oh, you're wrong. Ask Rachel. Let me tell you something, man. I went to camp and I grew up in the 70s. I assure you, I have been put in my place.
Well, you sure know how to make me
Oh, please. I don't make you anything. You're being a baby.
irritated.
No, not band camp.
Why don't you do the honors?
Guys, if you've enjoyed the witty banter here this evening, we lost our thing. Please consider being a Patreon supporter. You can go and support us at patreon.com/revolutionary change. And it is free. You guys can join for free, but for as little as $5, you can be a supporter. And it really does help us. It helps us keep this channel going. It helps us with Colin. You know, Colin has to take a lot of crap. So, it helps compensate. He has to deal with Peter and he's cranky. And so, whatever. It's all very helpful. Tate's 4242. Thank you for the $2. We are not small brother. I don't know what that's meaning about. Do you know what he's talking about? We are not. Oh, our channel. Yeah. Okay. I hear you. We're a little small. We're less small. We're smallish.
Smallish. Jewish.
By the way, speaking of Jewish,
yeah,
that guy's back in the news again. He's back in the news.
He's going to end up in prison. I don't see how he doesn't.
I am telling you, where's Tony Clifton when we need him?
Andy Kaufman would be very proud to know.
Andy, for people who don't know, because this is a relatively new, I have been saying for the longest time that I think George Santos is actually Andy Kaufman in disguise and that he's going to like rip off that George Santos face and be Andy Kaufman. And because he's just too ridiculous to be true. Mojo Rising. Thank you. You became a YouTube member. Very cool. Mojo Rising. Jim Talib with the $5 super sticker. Thank you. I'm so not good at this like you are. You're a really good announcer. I know you don't feel good. Okay. Marvin Vargas. Thank you for the $2. A few shekels for weed stack. Oh, Marvin. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Kenman with the $2.79 Canadian A. See, I could do it like Peter. Imagine if Michael Tracy did Jubilee.
Oh, good Lord.
Okay, what else? Teresa, thank you so much. Teresa gave us 5 Rev Change memberships. That's so nice.
Not just any.
Teresa is one of our OGs for sure. Well,
And
guys,
that's-
if you don't know about the Tony Clifton I'm referring to, we have a guy who occasionally comes into the chat and his screen name is Tony Clifton and his avatar is actually a picture of Tony Clifton. And he was one of the people that was with us in the very beginning, which is how that all started. Carson Cruz, get well, Peter. Thank you for the $10, Carson. All right, maybe you should be sick more often, Peter. We get some sympathy money. Marvin Vargas, thank you for the $2. Have Jana Sutova book on Noahide law, Canadian law C9. Does that have something to do with the Inuits? Is that like something to do with the indigenous? I know there's a lot of issues. I'm not sure what that's about. Teresa, 78201, Teresa, $5. Thank you so much. I'm sorry about the guest, but the timing is good with Pete's illness. It's true. Look, we've been stood up before. It happens. We're a live show. It is weird that he fritzed, though. You don't usually get fritzed and then stood up. That is unusual.
Rizzed, something like that.
Fritzed. Fritz.
I'll be fine for Thursday. I've got like another day or so where I gotta shake this
Peter
out.
will time how much longer he's willing to be sick, but apparently he'll be ready for Thursday. He'll time it out.
I just know how long it takes for my body to recover.
I
from
understand. It's very good self-awareness.
I honestly, I can't tell if you're just laying on the sarcasm like extra thick or.
It's kind of both. It's kind of both. It is good self-awareness that you do know exactly when you'll be done being sick. It's a little, but.
Oh, Lord.
All right. You are so unfun.
I can't help it. I power through as best
I know. You don't feel good. Are you traveling again too? Is that coming up?
Yes.
Maybe you shouldn't.
Say that again.
So, I said maybe you shouldn't.
Oh, it's over a week from now, but it is what it is.
See, Medi likes it. Medi finds it very entertaining. I know Rachel likes it. Rachel finds me damn entertaining.
Well, if it has to be at my expense, and as long as you're happy.
Well, you're the person here. So
I guess so.
That's where we're at.
Can't get.
He needs a Quaalude. We can't get real Quaaludes anymore, Sable.
Good Lord, no.
We haven't been able to get good, real Quaaludes since the late 70s. When they switched them and then they were made in Mexico and the whole thing got messed up. And then the Quaaludes that were Quaaludes weren't really Quaaludes. And it's a whole thing.
You know, I've never done any drugs.
Yes, you have. I'm sorry.
Well,
Seen
weed.
you. Oh,
Yeah.
You're not including cannabis in your drug thing?
Not really.
Is this sort of playing like an I never? Well, I went to the University of Colorado at Boulder, so that game won't go very well for me.
Probably not, but no, I never.
I used to go to dead shows, I assure you.
No uppers, no downers, no E, no acid, no.
I wouldn't say I'm a wiki on Quaaludes. I would say that I grew up in the 70s with parents that were hippies, and I just have learned some things. That's what I would say. And that my great-grandmother got very into them, and then when they stopped making them, she still had a stash, and my dad went and tried to get them, which was his grandmother, and she was just not sharing the Quaaludes, so that became a whole thing.
Oh, that's definitely true, and I would say that. I mean, I have drank, but I don't really drink anymore. I mean, I have like maybe a glass of wine or a beer on a rare occasion, but
I've never seen Peter not even remotely intoxicated. Not even a little tipsy, never, not once.
well, I will have some NyQuil tonight. So
Are
I
you
guess-
offering me mushrooms, Marvin? Are you offering me mushrooms?
Are we legally allowed to talk about that on the channel?
Mushrooms?
Yeah.
They're all over my did I not show you the picture of my mushroom that I got today?
Yes, I saw it. I saw it.
We could talk about mushrooms. First of all, psilocybin is legal in a whole bunch of states right now. So,
Medi, what's your sign? I'm curious what your zodiac is. You're probably an Earth sign. You have to be
No.
grounded. No?
I bet you anything she's a water sign. But we'll find out.
Okay.
We'll find out. But no, but mushrooms and high, it's kind of a different thing.
A little bit.
You think? Little bit.
Little bit. little bit. A little taste.
This is why when people get on me for the stuff, I have to remind everybody that this is a lot more of the reality than what you guys might see on the stream. That's just the way it is.
Geez, you're like really throwing me under the bus tonight. And it's
No, not under the bus, but people need to know reality. You know, it's just, she's a shroom sign. Is that what it is? I am right. Told you she was a water sign. Thank you.
Are you an Aquarius?
I didn't know her sign. I just know she's a water sign.
What are the water signs?
I'm an earth sign. We're Taurus. We're earth sign.
Both Tauruses, yeah.
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 You're asking me if I did mushrooms? Lots. I lived in Boulder. Seriously. When I was a freshman in my dorm, they would have around the world parties. And a lot of places would do it with drinks. So like each room was a different type of beverage. And in my dorm, Libby Hall, University of Colorado, it was around the world with drugs. So every room was a different drug. When I tell you what a mess that was, now why people would waste perfectly good drugs that way I don't understand. I never understood the mixing of the things like that.
The one thing I've learned over the years is that if you're a good-looking woman, I mean like a good-looking woman, if you want to do drugs, if you want to get high, if you want to go out and have a good time, if you know how to work it, you never have to pay. You can get whatever you want. I've seen it. And the one thing I've learned about a lot of women that like to go out and have a good time, women love cocaine. That's something
Women love cocaine? What kind of ridiculous statement is that to make?
I didn't say all women.
Oh, just women?
Women that like to go out and have a good time.
Like Coke?
Yeah, like Coke.
Well,
maybe that's more me generation, like when I grew up.
I guess it is. And when I was in Boulder, look, there were always the Coke people. I've just never been into that. I don't understand the point of speed. I spend my entire existence like this. All I can do to not be like that is, so the idea that somebody would purposefully be like this is fascinating to me. I've never understood the speed concept.
But is that a stereotype that isn't true?
I would suggest that everybody in the Western world to some extent loves money. I think that it's a capitalist problem, and that to say it like it's a Jewish thing is really stupid. That's just stupid.
What I would say is that the system we have makes us money dependent at all times.
Binary fairy. I have seen many people granted miracles in my day. And the dead parking lots were something special. It was something special. It was such a vibe. It was something that the world could really use more of right now, to be honest.
Sure. You know, if there's one thing I would say that would probably make the world a better place is if more people did get high.
I've been saying that for a long time, and especially when people want to look at alcohol and what that's done to people. And I've said it a million times, you know, pothead doesn't go home and beat the shit out of his wife. Pothead goes home and finds the Doritos. Alcoholics go home and beat the shit out of their wife, right? Alcohol is very belligerent.
Time out. You know, you used to give me a lot of shit about eating Doritos.
I won't eat Doritos. I don't ever eat Doritos. I don't do orange food. Don't be ridiculous. It is just a common pothead it's a known common pothead. I don't allow orange food. My kids were not allowed orange food. There's no orange food.
Shawshank is my favorite film.
I have two. You know my two. What are my two? You know.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
No. You know my two favorite movies. Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
Big Lebowski and Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. My all-time most favorite movie of all time is Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
Well,
I have a poster of it. I have an original movie poster from a theater in Atlanta from Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
Well, Spencer Tracy got the Oscar, right? That was for the speech.
But he had died.
Well,
that was
yeah.
the last movie he made before he died. And the tears and Katharine Hepburn, it was all completely real.
Yeah.
Because he was dying. Like that there were so many things about that movie. That movie is very special to me.
I mean, listen, it's one thing. I mean, personally, I prefer In the Heat of the Night because I think it was the slap heard round the world. That was one of the most powerful scenes I ever saw.
Bring it, Sandor. Any day, bring it. Overrated, please. My only complaint to the Coen brothers, and this for the life of me, I cannot understand, is what is their problem with the Eagles? That is the one thing I would ask the Coen brothers. Really? Really? Versace? I know better. Kenman, I know better than Versace. You never seen that movie, did you, Peter? Showgirls? It was that Elizabeth Berkley. I saw it not in the theater. I saw it like years later. It was
a softcore porno. I mean, it's not a movie. You know, it is what it is.
It was stupid, but
Elizabeth
the thing
Berkley
was that she was in Vegas and they took her to go to the fancy store and it was Versace and she's like, "Oh, Versace."
Yeah.
She called it Versace.
Well, that ruined her career. Like she wouldn't have. I don't think she was going places that further anyway. I mean, she came. Yeah. See, Gina Gershon.
There.
Gina Gershon is an example of an actress who, or just as a woman, definitely has sex appeal. Like I can respect her game.
Go see a movie called High Art. Highly recommend.
Guys,
you like Gina Gershon?
Yeah, so she's
go see High Art.
Jen has not seen Dazed and Confused.
No.
It's definitely worth a watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, without question. Pulp Fiction was great too, but it's not.
Except for now we have a problem, don't we?
Yeah,
now we have a problem. Now I can't watch that and enjoy it like I used to. Now we have a problem because now I know that Tarantino is a pederast and a Zio.
Aren't they all?
I can't.
You start reading the stories about Spielberg, especially when it comes to Heather O'Rourke and forgetting the girl's name that was in Jurassic Park, but they say don't meet your heroes, but in reality, the system is set up in a way where people suck. You think deep down a lot of people know that Trump is a fraud, that he's not even those that truly love him and
other than I think his cult people believe his shit. I think his cult people believe his shit.
You really think people are just that indoctrinated that they just can't see it?
Yes, because I've met some. So yes, I do think that.
It's too bad.
Yes, because that's the holdup for the rest of humanity. Those are the people that are holding us all up. That's the problem. Yeah. We're waiting for those people so we can maybe have some nice things.
Who's to say that the people that are now in a position that are getting younger would make that possible? There you go. Well, individuals are not stupid, but groups are.
No, people are pretty fucking stupid. This is something, and again, I quote the great Professor John Teeter from St. Mary's Law School. There's no such thing as a stupid question, just stupid people who ask questions. And I cannot agree with that more. I hate when people say there's no such thing as a stupid question. Of course not. Question can't be stupid. Person asking it's a moron. Anywho.
I'll call it a casting couch for nothing.
All right. Do you have anything else you want to cover?
The last thing
you supported him too, Mehdi. You were a Trump supporter.
It's not even necessarily being a Trump supporter. It's that I would challenge people to go back and listen to Trump in 2015, 2016, and some of the speeches he made, and you would listen to him. Heck, just listen to the speech that Michael Moore made the few days before Trump won in 2016, how he saw it coming. He said, Trump's going to win. And I could tell you why. Because of what he was saying to the United Auto Workers and all this stuff. I mean, he channeled Bernie. He just went out there and said, well, I'm going to just do what Bernie does. And he did. And it worked. But then the mask came off. And maybe, just maybe, enough people will start to wake up. That's why we're here. Smash that like button, share, subscribe, do all those things we ask you to do, despite the heaviness, high heaviness of this cold. But I'll be
We have stuff like, I don't know what we have coming up.
We need to get,
Hi, Murdoch.
In commemoration of the victims of the USS Liberty attack.
Thank you.
God bless you.
It's very important, the USS Liberty. And we're not going to stop talking about that. We're not going to stop talking about it.
Yeah, we need to powwow with Rachel and get things situated as far as
the only thing that in my mind that will suck about the end of the Zio state is that I feel that it would happen before there is justice for things like that.
That's probably true.
And that bothers me. But they won't, fortunately for the world, they won't be around. So, yeah.
Pray for an afterlife and hopefully they'll suffer there. That's all you can do. Smash it, like it, share it, do all the things that we ask you to do. And I can't talk straight, but I will on Thursday, I promise. We love you all. We appreciate you all. And
free Palestine.
good night, guys.